This mutation is called Infection Detected, and it is being played on Malwarfare. We have 3 mutators active. We have Alien Incubation, Self-Destruction, and we have Outbreak. So, you can see over here, the Abathur is already starting to put down some toxic nests, and once his buddy Dehaka starts spawning, there will be some ultimate value for Abathur, and he's not really going to have to try very hard to get some of these nests out. Fortunately, these 2 nests were put in a little bit too close to this. He has actually put down a spine crawler as well, so I think he's going to start luring as well. So now that Dehaka is over here, he's going to go and start clearing out some of these enemy defenses. So the other thing to also note is notice how there is manual detonation on these nests, so that there's a little bit more value being obtained. Unfortunately, because of self-destruction, it does reduce the effectiveness of these toxic nests because you put them too close together. As you see over here, you end up having these units just dying off and exploding and killing off the nests anyway. So the other thing to also note about Outbreak is at 20 minutes, aberrations are going to start spawning from the enemy structures, and unfortunately on this mission, the bonus objectives and the suppression tower bases are considered enemy structures, and obviously since you cannot clear them, it does mean that it is impossible to all clear the map, which means that you will inevitably have to deal with the aberrations spawning. You can see here some of the value from the toxic nest damage being produced. We can see that mastery-wise, Dehaka has gone for the Devour, the Pack Leader Timing, and the Dehaka attack speed, which is pretty standard. Abathur has gone for the Toxic Nest damage, Symbiote, and split Toxic Nest charges, and the Morph and Evolution Great Mastery. So overall, very standard picks here for both these commanders. A total of 95 biomass has been picked up, and 95 biomass has been dropped, with 95 biomass on the pickup rate. So you can see here, Abathur is playing very efficiently right now, and now Abathur has his first Brutal Scout, which means he pretty much is able to defend the second security terminal without too many problems. So this is the second security terminal, and here there seems to be a little bit of a harass with some of the units here, but pull these commanders deep tunnel across to help make sure that not too much damage is being taken on the worker line. And now we have the next attack wave that is coming up towards the players' bases, and I think yeah, there are some toxic nests as well on this side, so it should not be too bad. But Dehaka is just running in to get these guys to leash. He says, "Follow me, I shall show you something very awesome." Abathur does not seem to be interested in luring into these nests anymore, so he's just going to go ahead and clean up this attack force here. So now Dehaka and his buddy, the Brutalisk, Bob the Brutalisk, will go and start pushing into this small enemy camp here. A few cannons. Self-destruction does deal a lot of damage, so it'll be very important for the commanders to get some healing as well in the process. And Dehaka right now is at level 4. And he's holding on to a stat point, which means he wants to go for the armor and the detection upgrade at the same time, so that's why he is way deep tunnel. The Brutalisk has deep tunnel across on this side, and there is also a toxic nest. Dehaka does devour the Colossus, and he gets a bit of damage reflect buff as well. Ends up killing off some of these zealots, and now the broodlings as well will end up going down. One of the things that makes it very difficult with self-destruction is that the broodlings compound with self-destruction, so when they die, you end up having to deal with more than one explosion. So the unit dies, it explodes, and then you have broodlings that spawn, and when those things die, it also explodes. And usually what you have is you have a lot of splash damage abilities that are just innate as part of the attack, and that can make it very tricky. You can see here a lot of these units are taking a lot of damage now, and yeah, there are a few more broodlings on this side. Again, these will get cleaned up by that Brutalisk, and Dehaka now is on here, and he's going to start taking some shots here. And again, very nice shot from Glavik here, pretty much one-shots a lot of the units on this side. A lot of the enemy defenders have been cleared out, and just all that's left now is a bunch of broodlings, but Glavik is going to be able to clean up that side very quickly. Dehaka does devour the Immortal. And is Dehaka going to jump in? No, he's just going to reposition Glavik now. He's going to take another shot right down the middle here, and that should clean up pretty much all the units on that side. I think there's just a few more units that are left on this defense here, but yeah, with combined with Glavik and the Brutalisk, this side is pretty much held down without too many problems. So again, enemy structures have not actually been cleared. This one is still up and running, but again, it doesn't really make too much of a difference where you, if you are to all clear this mission, because the aberrations of the infestor are just going to keep spawning regardless. First suppression tower is now out, and Abathur has 2 Brulisks. A total of 550 biomass has been dropped. So Abathur can actually get out a couple more ultimate evolutions. He actually can get 3 more because he's short of 7 biomass still before his next ultimate evolution here. But I think this roach should be able to get enough now to become a Brutalisk. There we go. So that roach is going to become a Brutalisk. And now Abathur has his triple Brutalisk build, and now all Abathur needs to do is get out his Leviathans, and again there's still a 663 biomass that's been dropped. 3 Mulisks should be more than enough. I think a lot of this biomass is actually in this area, so it'll be a while for Abathur to be able to get it. Again, these adepts have been walking over these toxic nests, so they should drop some extra biomass as well for Abathur. And let's have a look at the production here. Abathur is going for the attack and the armor upgrades. And, sorry, Dehaka is going for the attack and the armor upgrades, and he is going for his primal reconstitution, which will allow his Mulisks to respawn. So 3 more Mulisks coming out for Abathur, and this side has already been cleaned up with the help of Morbar. And you see our damage output, like it's just so... I have never actually cleared in this order, but that is actually very impressive. And now the 3 Brutalisks are out. They are a little bit injured, so it'll be a while before they will be able to regenerate that much HP. But Dehaka is already ready and good to go. I don't know if the Mend is going to be used yet. So the Mend does get used to just regenerate the HP on these Brutalisks. Just give them a little bit more healing and give them a little bit more HP so they can tank the next onslaught that'll be up on their way here. Dehaka and 2 Brutalisks right now. Has the other Brutalisk been lost? No, it has not been lost. Okay, yeah, so yeah, those are the 3 Brutalisks right now. There's 1 Leviathan out already, and there's a Mulisk lost. 3 Mulisks have been lost in the process. I don't know if Abathur has... Okay, Abathur has 2 more Mulisks that are running around somewhere, so it should be very easy for him to be able to get his next set of Leviathans as well. That should be okay. There is another small harass wave that has spawned here, but that will get cleaned up as well by this greater primal worm. And on this side, it doesn't look like there's anything here. Dehaka is making his way there, so Abathur should be able to solo defend this security terminal, so it should not be terrible. Dehaka does use a Docker, and then since they're dealing with a ground composition here, it should not be terrible. Mulisks are trying to go and pick up some of this. Gets attacked by some of these devs, does decide to dodge a little bit of this. His Mulisk will get focus fired down, though he has to be a little bit careful. He doesn't really want to lose the biomass and all the Mulisk, and there we go. He does get his 2 Leviathans out now, and that is good to go. Dehaka is on here, and he'll be able to hold the side solo with his army of Mulisk, so that is the bonus objective basically done on this part. And yeah, that suppression tower will end up getting cleared out once Abathur is already in position. We have a bunch of spine crawlers here that will be able to hold here. Abathur decides to take a small detour and to deal with those infested Terrans before he goes to deal with the suppression tower. Suppression tower has been cleared now. The next escort wave, the next harass wave does end up getting cleared up by the toxic nest as well on the ground. Dehaka with his Mulisks attacking the suppression tower, and now there's another harass wave. But Abathur's ultimate evolutions are already in position, and they were able to clean up that side. Suppression tower has been cleared now by Dehaka, and this is the 3rd security terminal cleared and good to go. We have a few more primal worms as well now that are being added to the mix here. These are the greater primal worms that are just being used, I think, to clear out some of these structures. Unfortunately, you know, it's impossible to clear out this mission, which makes Outbreak particularly deadly. It means that regardless of what you do, you have to deal with the aberrations at some point. Now, if you do notice that there is a choke point on here, you can probably try and wall the side off and like set up a good set of defenses here. But other than that, there's only really much you can do to prevent the onslaught of the aberrations. But Dehaka is already over here now, starting to clear out the side. His army of Mulisks are also good to go. They are taking a little bit of damage to the self-destruction, but they will regenerate. Self-destruction does hit air units, making it a little bit difficult, makes it a little bit painful. And now Guava gets dropped in one shot straight through the middle, or one-shots all the units through there, and just a bunch of hybrids and some colossi that are left over. And now another shot through here, also weakening this hybrid. And now this hybrid is going to go in a fist fight with Dehaka, and it is a fight that he is not going to win because he just gets completely eaten by Dehaka. And yeah, over here, Abathur is just cleaning up the rest of these structures on this part. This does simplify it a little bit because it means that the rest of the infested will be coming up through this side, and it means they will be intercepted by the commander's armies over here. Eat on the Oracle, instantly one-shot some of the remaining units on there, and now we have a Glevig being deep tunnel across here, and then a shot through this side again. Getting a lot of value for Dehaka here. Lots of broodlings just surviving here, but again, Glevig is paying his cost in gold right now. He's just paying dividends, completely clearing out lots of the enemy camps here. And a total of 1,800 biomass has been dropped for Abathur, and Abathur just has to go ahead and pick up all the delicious biomass that is available for him in the wake of Dehaka's destruction across Amon's bases. So there we go. So Abathur is now starting to add some more some swarm hosts into the mix here, and this will provide Abathur with a little bit of extra defenses here. Lots of toxic nests have been put down, and ends up one-shotting this attack wave. Now there is a total of 2,000 biomass that has been dropped, so I think about 300 biomass that dropped from that one attack wave now. And now there's a hybrid dominator that is over here that has been roared and scared, so it cannot cast any of the abilities. So the rest of Dehaka's army joins in, bounces onto that one hybrid dominator, and ends up killing that dominator now. And then now Orana's transport is at the 4th security terminal and good to go. So we're going to see what suppression tower or spawn order we have. So we have this one first, which is very convenient because there's no defenses here next to it. And the suppression tower will end up getting cleared up now. The next suppression tower will be spawned somewhere over here now, and it will be a while before that happens. But Dehaka is just cleaning up whatever the structures he has available with the help of Abathur's army. And there should be another harass wave that will be spawning. There are no toxic nests that are being put down here to deal with the incoming harass wave that has spawned. I think Abathur just wants to go and just deal with these the harass wave that will be spawning on this side instead. So Abathur's army chooses to engage. A few blue lists over here. Lots of damage output here, but the queens are at the back here, and having a lot of biomass will allow them to increase their energy regeneration rate so they can keep healing. Next suppression tower has spawned. And yeah, there were 2 toxic nests there, but a little bit not enough to deal with the full force of the stack wave. But again, Abathur's brutalists have deep tunnel across, and now they have cleared out that side. So this is going to be the last suppression tower that will be spawning, and Abathur's locusts will be dealing with this harass wave. But you can see they're relatively effective at pulling this army back here. And again, there's 2,800 biomass that has been dropped on the ground, with about 2,000 that has been picked up, so that is about a 60% pickup rate, 60-65%. Now we have the rest of these locusts. We're just pushing through the side here, and yeah, you can see there's just a lot of biomass here that's very viable for Abathur to pick up. But I don't think. Yeah, there we go. Some of these storm hosts go ahead and gobble up all the delicious biomass. Still 1,000 biomass that has not been picked up, which is kind of wasteful for Abathur. There's a lot of little biomass balls here that need to be picked up, and I think that one was also picked up, which is actually good. So that was the remnant of the attack wave. Dehaka jumps in, but unfortunately, I think he might end up getting killed off. Nope, or does he end up surviving? Oh, he ends up surviving. Only just ends up surviving there. One of the Brulisks have deep tunneled now down into this enemy camp, and will start attacking and poking their way through over here. I think the map for the most part has been all cleared other than this remaining enemy base here. So again, a lot of damage output has been dealt on Dehaka's side throughout the course of the mission. And I think, yeah, for the most part, I think the only thing that's left is the enemy camp that is up at the top here, and Dehaka is getting ready to engage this side now. You can see there's an infested medic over here. I don't know if I can click it before it ends up getting murdered by these units, but there you go. There's an infested medic on here, and this spawns at a certain point in time in the middle of the mission. And the only thing you can heal is the infested units. And that's one of the cool things that is there about Outbreak that very few people usually see. There's another Glevig now that gets spawned here. Another Eat on Dehaka. One-shots all the squishy units and restores breath through the middle of the space, and that is pretty much all the enemy defenders cleared. There are a few more enemy structures that are left, so Dehaka is going to try and do the clearing now. Dehaka has deep tunnel across. I'm not really sure what that was. I think that was a misclick on the burrow. I think the intent was to burrow a deep tunnel Glevig here, and now they just go ahead and start clearing. And now you can see the 20-minute mark, aberrations have started spawning. And now there's an Eat on Dehaka on the Psionic unit. One-shots a lot of these aberrations. One more left that is dealing a little bit of damage to Dehaka with the help of the Broodlings. Glevig does end up going down, as a result of that damage output. But that's pretty much all the bases cleared. Only thing that's left now is for Dehaka to go ahead and clear out the rest of his enemy camps here, or the enemy structures for that matter. So they're going to go now. I think they want to go ahead and do this bonus objective while Abathur is on this side, and he'll be defending with Dehaka's Mutalisks. So again, you can see these aberrations can get very, very scary. First suppression tower has been spawned right now. There's another attacker that has spawned, but Dehaka doesn't end up eating that. And I think he's going to probably eat another one of these sentries and the one shot all of that. So very, very quickly. And there is one more, and again, very nice eats on Dehaka there. One-shotting all these harassways very, very quickly. And a few more units now, dealing a little bit of damage to Abathur's army. The Brulists are tanking very, very strongly with the help of the Mend ability as well. And that suppression tower has been cleaned up with the help of Abathur's Mutalisks, and or Abathur's Swarm Horse with Dehaka's Mutalisks. And now Dehaka is going to be dealing with this next harassway over here. Again, they stand no chance against Dehaka's Mutalisk flock here. Just a bunch of aberrations are just being locked into position, making sure they cannot get out, get past these commanders' armies, because there are not that many defenses on the back over here. But that one suppression tower has been taken out by Dehaka's Mutalisk flock, and now this last suppression tower will also get cleared up by both the allied commanders' armies. And there are still a few more structures left. I don't know if these guys want to clear out what is left of these structures. It doesn't look like they want to do so. A bunch of aberrations again. Lots of biomass has been dropped here. 4,600 biomass, 4,700 biomass has been dropped so far. Now Dehaka is going to jump in here, and he's going to drop Malwarfare, and they want to go ahead and they want to try and clear this side out. I don't know if there'll be enough time before the end of the mission, because Orion's transport is pretty much already done, but it's going to be very, very close. There we go. That Nexus unfortunately does not end up going down, but that is all the security terminals purified, and that is GG.